us in closed, we gotta have time to close doors and all.
So,
Once you put us in closed, then we gotta get the doors closed and everything else.
okay. At this time, I want to call our regular monthly board meeting to order. And, Sharon, do you have we need a motion to go into closed session?
I move that the Randolph County Board of Education enter into closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A, 3, and 6 to preserve the attorney-client privilege and to hear a confidential legal matter.
All right, we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Elizabeth, you with us? Elizabeth? I would like to call our regular monthly board meeting back to order. If anyone's listening tonight, plus everyone here, I hope you have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And if anyone was just wondering by chance, that same size you guys bought me last year, I cannot wear it anymore. You'll have to step it up another X. I need an extra X in that, but I appreciate it. I hate we're not having recognitions tonight, but it's always kind of fun to have them at Christmas time. And
It is our Christmas card.
yeah, it's so cool and recognize the Christmas card and a lot of stuff we do. And kind of miss that. That's anyway, so one of the better meetings of the year. All right, so at this time, okay, Bill, would you lead us in a word, please?
Lord, we want to thank you again for the opportunity to come together as a board, dear Lord, to make the decisions, dear Lord, for the school system. And pray, Lord, you give us wisdom there, Lord. Lord, just be with our employees, our students, staff, and just give them a wonderful holiday season, Lord. And Lord, let them remember that you're the reason for the season, Lord. And Lord, I just ask that you meet with us tonight, Lord. Give us wisdom, discernment on the decisions we make. And we again thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ, who died for our sins. We love you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Stuart. At this time, I want to ask that you stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I guess I didn't even ask, is Elizabeth with us? Our attorney, is she with us? She's about Zoom tonight. There she is. Okay. That don't look like the same one who was here earlier. All right. At this time, Dr. Gainey will share some comments.
Thank you, Mr. Cook, board members. Just want to give you some updates and some things last couple months, or last couple weeks that happened in our school system. A lot of special events have been occurring. I also want to say a big thank you to teachers at Liberty, Level Cross, and Farmwood who allowed me to come to their classrooms and read. We've had a literacy night event at Coleridge on the 18th of November. Had a chance to attend that. We also had a big career fair for 11th grade students on the 21st of November. And I see David Cross out there. I want to thank him and Stephanie Adams and the staff at Journey Church for allowing us to use their great facility. On the 21st was a big day. I started with kindergartners, reading to them. Then I went to David's career fair, and then we went to Bulldog Lunch for Leaders at Trinity Elementary School. And that was a great day all the way around, because the way it ended that night, I want to thank Ginger Williams for Bulldog Lunch for Leaders, but that night ended at Guilford College as our Southwestern Randolph High School soccer team won the 4A state championship. And just want to take a moment to congratulate Jimmy Walker, the head coach, Jeff Tile, the assistant coach, and all the players. We're going to have them in, board members, on the January 12th meeting to recognize them. Saw a lot of soccer that night, and I know somebody, here's this comment, might think I'm being a little bit partial towards our kids, but they were clearly, that weekend, I saw 6 soccer state championship games, and I don't think anybody matched the athleticism of that and the skill of that team. It was just tremendous. I think they could have won at any level. We had a great, the week right as we were coming to Thanksgiving, I went to a multilingual learners summit at Brown High School, and I just really want to say a big thank you to Corey Phillips, the principal and staff, for putting that event on. Last week was busy, student month celebration at Early College. Shay Gross and her staff did a great job as always. That was on Wednesday, and then on Thursday I had a chance to go to Special Olympics basketball at YMCA for our high school students. It's always a special time for them and a special time for me to see them competing, so excited to get to go to that event. Thursday night ended, David Cross and I were at a very special event, and it's called, I'm going to read this entire title because it has a lot of individual groups involved. North Carolina Center for the Advancement of Teaching 2026 Burroughs Welcome Fund, North Carolina Career and Technical Education Teacher of the Year Recognition Ceremony. It was at the Corey Center in Greensboro, and we had a very special member of our school system, Mark Walker, agriculture teacher from Admiral High School, who's recognized as a statewide finalist. And for those of you who know Mark, he is a great teacher and an absolute great individual. So very proud of Mark, very proud to be able to sit with him, see him go up on the stage and be recognized. Had a chance yesterday, one of the highlights this time of year, the parade got canceled on, or they had the parade Friday night, we just didn't give out books because of the weather in Asheboro, but yesterday I did get a chance to give out books at the Hartsdale Christmas Parade with the Randolph Partnership for Children. I had a lot of questions as we were walking about whether we were going to be in school today. As I gave out books, the question came back, are we going to be in school? But I guess we saw, we came, but we didn't get to stay all day. But I also want to take a moment to thank Sierra Zimmerman, agriculture teacher at Cobble Scrub High School, for the beautiful poinsettias that are in front of our table here tonight. Great job by our students and Sierra in preparing those, growing those poinsettias. And finally, I just want to say a big thank you to each board member, students of the school system, staff of the school system, parents, and members of the community for what everybody does to make this a special place. And I want to wish everyone a very happy and safe holiday season. So, Mr. Cook, that concludes my comments. Busy month, and that's just a little piece of what's been going on. We have concerts all throughout this month as well, and so exciting time for the Randolph County Schools.
Thank you, Dr. Gaines. I'll stop at eating dinner tonight, and we always have an event on your night. You and Kelly have a little party at your house, but I have some concerns. The law was called out, I heard. Was it because somebody parked on your grass, or was it just a wild party? I mean, I know you're funny about that.
It must have been somebody on the grass, that's all I can figure.
I've never had a man that blocks his own driveway or grass off when it's his party. That's what the word is on the street.
That was a secret security that people don't know, so they get to meet them in the front yard. So, board members, I'm passing out a schedule of events too. I forgot this, since we didn't have a work session. This picks us up from after tonight where we are. We're very quickly going down the road towards the end. I mean, it will be at the end of the school year before we know it. So, anyway, Mr. Cook, are we ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay, board members, at this time, we need to have our annual board meeting, and I will lead this until we can get a chair selected or elected. So this time, the floor is open. I'll accept any nominations for chair of the Randolph County Board of Education.
I'll nominate Gary Cook for chairman.
Okay, we have one nomination. Gary Cook. Anybody else?
Seems perfect to me.
Okay, so we only have one nomination. Any other nominations? So the next thing for the board is there a motion to appoint Mr. Gary Cook as board chair by acclamation? Does anyone want to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Cutler. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Ms. Whitaker. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. All right, so at this point, we have Mr. Cook as our board chair, and I will turn the board meeting over to him. So, Mr. Cook, if you want me to, I'll record any nominations for vice chair, okay?
Okay. So at this time, I will accept nominations for board vice chair.
I'd like to nominate Ms. Sharon Farlow.
Okay, Sharon Barlow, I'll second it. I do that?
We gotta close nominations.
Oh.
Let's see if there's any more nominations.
Is there any more nominations?
So, board members, does anybody want to make a motion to appoint Ms. Farlow as vice chair of the board by acclamation?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay.
All right. It works, all right.
All in favor?
All in favor, say aye. Opposed?
Opposed?
Okay. You know, I know I've been at it a long time, but I appreciate the confidence and the trust. And I enjoy working with all you guys, and I hope I hope I try to listen and try to help any way I can. And I think we have made a difference. I mean, I think we're a good board. And I really like how this board, I mean, I think the biggest thing when you come in this boardroom, and I can truly say this about this board, they care. And it's no fake, it's no game, it's no put on. So many days, and I watch it all the time. I mean, unfortunately, I still look at social media. But I see these people, and it's become such a political show. People just, you know, who they want to post their picture with, who they want to be with. You know what? I think we're the most, I told Todd this the other day, I think the school board members are probably the most, we're low. I mean, they say soil and water's pretty low on the totem pole, but we're right there with them. I mean, you know, but we're low. But that's one of the most important jobs there is, and it's the school board member. And, but anyway, I do appreciate the fact that everybody on this board takes it seriously, and it's not a political game for them. And, you know, as we have the filing season now and all, and, you know, when people want to file for school board, and just because one thing that's upset them or anybody like that, you know, it's a big deal. I get upset sometimes too, as we all do, but we work it out, and, you know, none of us are perfect, but, you know, we all try to work it out and talk together for the best of the students. So anybody, I guess if you want to really make me mad, tell us this board don't care about kids. That ticks me off.
For staff, for our schools.
And I appreciate all the extra time that you two put in, because I know that we put in a lot of time, you put in a lot of extra time too, so I appreciate that. It doesn't go unnoticed.
And I appreciate how you, and I know Todd's been here before, Tracy. And I still remember Tracy, it was farmer, back in the farmer days, so Tracy was ready to choke me, you know, and things weren't going good. He ran for school board, but you know, it turned out to be one of the best board members you could ever ask, ran a dear friend. I mean, that's what, and Shannon and Philip coming on, been nothing but a great asset. And in addition, and Todd coming back, that's been, no one cares any more than Todd, I can tell you that. But sometimes he might write a little long letter, but his heart is definitely in the right place. He cares, he really does. And Sharon, need I say more? I mean, she's just great to work with. I mean, absolutely great.
She's a heck of a Calvin girl.
I mean, she's one of the best. I mean, no, got two.
Whatever.
Well, I got sorry for that one, I didn't. All right, we're gonna get off on that, Tracy, and moving on. All right, so we need approval of the November 17th, 2025 minutes.
So moved.
I'll second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Okay, opposed? So no one signs up for public comments. So at this time, we need a motion to adopt the meeting agenda.
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So we'll start out with Dr. Gaines. Got any questions?
Okay, before I get started, we have a guest, and David will introduce her as well. I'm sure when we get going here, but Dr. Freeman is back here from UNCG, and she's been involved in the presentation David's going to do later called Randolph Education Connection. So thank you for coming, Dr. Freeman. I'm sure is it snowing in Greensboro still?
A little bit, yeah.
Well, thank you for coming and being with us.
Thanks for having me.
So the first thing on the information item I want to share is to make you aware of those revisions in regulation code 3420, and that is credit recovery program. We revised that particularly so we can address section H of board policy 3420. There was a change in state board policy for credit recovery. Used to, before this change, it went into place this year. When you did credit recovery, your grade didn't change on your transcript. It just, credit recovery was pass-fail, and you kept your grade. Now they've gone in and said, for the part of credit recovery you do, you'll get a grade, and it'll be factored back into your course grade. Credit recovery, you do a section of a course, you don't redo the whole course. So if you have failed the course. So we went ahead, as you know, regulations allow us to help staff carry out policies, so it gives a little bit more detail. You don't have to have a regulation or even an exhibit for every policy, but this is one that we've had, and we went through and revised it to help staff who may be dealing with this critical coverage change in the future. I actually, we posted on, it actually posted on December 5, but it was sent in to post on December 1, so I think when you go on the webpage, you'll see December 1 as a revision day. So I want to make you aware of that. Next item, I have a couple gifts for you. On November 21, received an email from Stephanie Hatcher, principal of Level Cross Elementary School, regarding a gift from Franchise Investments LLC in the amount of $200 that was given to the school to help students pay for their field trip to the Biltmore Estates in the spring of 2026. I don't know what grade level it's going, but that's what it'll be used for. I accepted this gift on November 23, and it's an information item per board policy 8220, since it is $5,000 or less. It's information.
2,000.
2,000. What did I say? Did I say 200? Yeah, 2,000. Thank you. That is a big gift. That'll go a long way. I'm sorry to Franchise Investments. I didn't say that one correctly. All right. The next gift you have is November 21. Email from Carlina Rebels. Received that on that day. Principal of Northeastern Randolph Middle School. A gift to her school by Melda Dyer in the amount of $400 to be used for the school's cross-categorical classroom. And this gift was accepted on November 23. And again, it's an information item per board policy 8220 due to being $5,000 or less. And then finally, the final gift I have for you tonight, November 18, I received an email from Carlina Rebels, principal of Northeastern Randolph Middle School, regarding a gift given to her school by Destination Heaven Ministry in the amount of $1,000, and it was designated to be used for students in need. I accepted this gift on November 18, and again, it's an information item since it is $5,000 or less per board policy 8220. And just want to say thank you to all the individuals who have provided gifts for us. We appreciate your continued support of the school system. This afternoon, we already have 3 gifts coming in January. 2 came in today. So appreciate everybody's continued support of our school system. Any questions, board members? Okay. David, I think you're up.
All right.
How you doing?
I appreciate it. Good evening. It's great to be here in front of you today, Board, Dr. Gainey, leadership team. Proud to unveil our new teacher pipeline development program. And first and foremost, I would like to introduce a critical partner and great teammate so far, Dr. Faith Freeman. She's the Director of Alternative Licensure Pathways and the Spartan Education Scholars Program. So awesome teammate, and again, proud mother. Her son is in the state championship coming up. They play for the Grimsley Whirlies, so they're playing on Friday in the state championship.
Friday night at 8 o'clock.
Yes,
Is he
yes.
playing guard or center now? Where's he at?
He's playing center.
He's back to center, okay.
Yeah, well, and sometimes guard, but mostly, yeah, so,
Yes.
number 62.
So if we had a board meeting on Friday, he would be here.
No, I would not be here.
Understandably.
I would be in Chapel Hill, yeah.
Every meeting we talk about some more.
Yeah, we always have to talk about football somewhere.
All right, so we've met, it's, again, partnership is Randolph County School System, UCG, and then RCC. So we're working to develop a teacher pipeline to develop teachers to come back to our school system. So we're trying to kick this off. I want to bring back the workforce roadmap. So we've been working over the past 5 years to really develop career awareness development, and then now participation opportunities. So I feel like at this point, I talked about this in my previous presentation, like we have the career fairs, we take them home high school tours, we have career development plans 6th through 12th grade. So we're really focused on developing opportunities for kids in 11th to 12th grade. There's lots of opportunities for credentialing and advancement and partnerships, just like the one we're going to discuss today. So getting to the vision of this, the Randolph Education Connection, so really started off at a dinner at Positanos, and we're just trying to kick it around, like how can we get kids excited about education? How do we get them back here? how can we take down barriers so that way we can get them in and out and trained at a high level and get them to be forever Randolph County School System teachers. So that's the vision behind it. So we want to establish a future education pipeline, and we don't want to focus just on elementary or middle and high. We want all content areas represented because there are needs across the board. It is a partnership among the 3 institutions, and we're proud of that. We feel like the logo that we put out represents our 3 institutions. So the vision behind the students will be provided with the opportunity to earn a 4-year degree and an educator preparation program provided through RCC and UNCG. They're going to get a ton of academic support along the 4 years, along with a huge financial gift as well. And then after graduation from UNCG, our hope is the student will return to us and teach for a minimum of 3 years. So here's our contribution. So we're looking to recruit 2 students each spring. So we're going to have a cohort, much like our apprenticeship Randolph program. Students are going to begin their RCC associate's degree in arts or science. It starts their teacher prep plan. So with RCC, we're going to carve out a 2-year program so they will be done with their associates by the time they get to high school graduation. Like with all of our CCP students, tuition is covered by the state, and then we cover books and supplies for the fall and the spring. But we're going to mirror our current CCP guidelines, and anything done in the summer will be at the expense of the student. Students are going to be expected to complete a CTE internship. Part of our Work Ready Randolph programs, we're partnering with schools right now to start placing kids as a junior or senior. The CTE department, we have created an honors credit. So students, we're starting to really push that coming up in our junior year. We have 80 internship placements coming up in the spring, excited about that. Several of those are with our elementary and middle schools. So really trying to get them into schools and get that CTE internship for honors credit. For the Randolph Community College part, they're going to partner with us and UNCG on the student selection process. We will cohort again and recruit each spring, much like we do with Apprenticeship Randolph. They're going to provide academic guidance and support. We have career coaches in all of the high schools to help them with their 2-year track. They're going to make sure they're going to help advise them. So when they get in this, like, are you going to be successful? Like, what area do you want to go teach? So we'll start them at a general education first semester and then help develop their customized track moving forward. They are going to waive all student fees for the courses, so it should be very, very minimal expense to the kid. And then all cohort students, the 3 of us will maintain, maintain them to make sure they're doing what they need to get through the program. And then finally, for UNCG, they're going to serve as the 4-year degree granting institution. So when they complete our program, 2 years of RCC, 2 years of UNCG, they will come out as a UNCG graduate. And it's going to be aligned to all the state North Carolina licensure standards. Now here's the big recruitment tool. UNCG is going to cover 50% of the tuition costs for students that enter this program. For anyone that officially enrolls in this Randolph Education Connection track. They're going to offer academic advising, mentorship, and professional development. And they are going to work with us to making sure that when they get to their 2 years at UNCG, they're going to come back to us and work in our schools as part of their internship and field placement. And then when they graduate, we work collaboratively with HR to place these students in our schools to begin their 3-year commitment, and hopefully much, much more with 4 years of relationship building. So they'll intern with us junior, senior year in high school, and then 2 years at UNCG, so they'll really essentially never leave us, even though they're living at UNCG. So we hope through the relationship, the tuition discount, they'll come back and be your forever RCSS teacher. So that's the hope. So here, Dr. Friedman did a great job providing the numbers. So here's the financial impact. So this is the 2, 3 year, 4 program. And I think these numbers, I need to update those numbers. So the student is really going to be about $8,101. Essentially, those slides are a little outdated, but it's going to be, what is it, Dr. Freeman, 4,000?
4101.
Hang on. I got it right here. Hang on 1 second. Sorry, we had to update the numbers over the weekend. It's my fault. So for year 1, is a normal student is going to pay $8,202. With the savings, it's going to be $4,101. Okay, year 2, another $8,202 is normal tuition. They will get a 50% discount. So they're going to save it'll be $8,202 to complete their degree if they commute. So like a lot of our students will, live in Randleman, drive to UNCG, complete their 4-year degree. They'll already shave off 2 years of RCC. If they commute for the 2 years, they're only having to pay $8,202 for their entire 4-year degree, okay? If they choose to live on campus,
That's huge, David.
Yeah.
Because remember, board members, they're not paying anything for the CCP classes, those first 2 years, which are really our 11th and 12th grade year with us. So they're getting 2 years completely free. So now you take what UNCG has provided for this, now you're looking at, if you get it done in 2 years at UNCG, which it's gonna be, the pathway will be there for them to do that. You could essentially pay for 4 years of college, $2,000 per year.
Yes,
If you
sir.
divide that 8 back across school.
Yes, sir.
So that is, that's huge.
So if we're saying if you choose to live on campus, it's roughly about $23,000 to live on campus. So even then, I mean, you're still out the door, it's around like $31,000 if you choose to live on campus those last 2 years. And so we calculated the total savings, you're saving $47,000 over the course of 4 years, because you're shaving off those 2 years of RCC, which is essentially, very, very low cost to the family. So a lot of different avenues, but both very inexpensive ways to get your 4-year degree, your teaching credential, and to come back to us.
Well, and I'm gonna say this too, board members. I've been around a lot of schools of education, and when I came back here 13 years ago, I was really excited to get back connected to UNCG, and I was excited how connected this school system was. Andre will tell you, we get a lot of student teachers from UNCG, and so I don't want somebody to get offended by this, but no school of education does it better than UNCG. There may be somebody out there that does it as well, but no one does it better preparing teachers than UNCG. So this is not just a huge discount, but this is a quality university, teacher preparatory university, or teacher preparatory program at a major university. So, and David, I'm not going to speak for, somebody sees this and say, well, 2 students in Springville, think about it, over 4 years, we've added 8 teachers.
And that's
In addition to the student teachers, Andre, one of our best recruiting avenues is student teachers. But where does this go? Does this wind up being a spring down the road? Let's get it right, but where does it go after that? Does it wind up being more?
Absolutely. And we're starting with, too, to make sure we get it right, that we have process in place, because there's going to be a lot of systems and a lot of monitoring and all that. And the funding is guaranteed for 2. And now Dr. Freeman also mentioned there's opportunity for scholarships that could be potential for other students beyond the 2. So that could be an opportunity for our kids as well.
Well, and one thing, board members, I want to make sure, David's done a lot of work with this, and Dr. Freeman has. We got to a point, and we were in a meeting, and all of a sudden, I forgot how we ended that, but Dr. Freeman said she was going to go explore. And next meeting we had, it was, let me tell you what we've got. We have a chance to provide 50% discount on tuition. And that's huge. That's huge. That's because that's what Andre, that's what we get out of the school of education at UNCG is they care, and it's bigger than just numbers. They want quality people coming through. And so thank you, Dr. Freeman, because that took a desire to make this work.
Will the 2 students be Randolph Early College High School students?
Like, we're going to open up to all participating students. I haven't thought about the early college kids, because essentially they would only need 2 years, but they would qualify.
They would be eligible, but
Yeah.
I didn't know if they would become an early college high school student. If
No,
they were
they-
selected.
No, they would, because the CCP, that's what's so good about this CCP program that's running in North Carolina right now. You have, essentially there's a board policy, we have 3 CCP pathways, we really have a 4th one, it's just early college. If you look at it, the way I look at it, Tammy, it's really, we have 4 going, and so, even if you don't go to early college, you have plenty of access as a junior and senior to the community college stuff. I think this is just a great catch of how to pair the 4-year university degree, or 4-year degree from university up with CCP.
Like, and once they get in, like, they'll have like a customized pass. So there's like 8-week classes, 16-week classes. So every kid will kind of look at their schedule and be like, all right, how are you going to accomplish this over the 6 semesters? And so along with their course weight, and then a lot of these will be dual credit, so it's actually counted towards their high school graduation as well.
David, we did talk about, because we know these are juniors and seniors, they did their internship. We're gonna go down and as a juniors and senior internship, we're not gonna do, they're not gonna do it at the high school level. That would be, didn't we talk about putting them in middle or elementary?
We talked about like a junior and senior going to intern at a high school with their peers would be a little difficult. You know, 16-year-olds interning over 16-year-olds would be a tough fit. So we're gonna intern them with our K-8, and then I've already asked for participation. We have several schools interested in taking students. So, and a lot of them already do it through our early childhood program. So we're excited to get started second semester. So, what are your thoughts, questions, feedback?
I love
That's
it.
great.
Thank you.
I love it.
Awesome. Thank you.
The thing is, can we get it going and get it good and get it right, and then look where we go? Is there other avenues to, do something
Similar.
bigger number?
Yeah.
You
Absolutely.
start putting this out, and this can turn, I'm thinking about several kids right now that have just recently graduated, who've commuted into UNCG, and they're well on their way. One's already finished the 4-year degree and working on math, and so this community, and one of the charts board members, you know, there is, the second chart with the dollar figures is the one if a child chose to live on campus. It's got that in there.
I love it. I think it's a great, like, pathways to look.
I do too.
You know, for kids coming out, to have like that pathway, to be able to just know this is the end game. Because, you know, that direction sometimes is lost when they get to college.
Like I've really noticed that programs like Apprenticeship Randall, like having that prescribed program, like here's your courses, here's your internship, like here's the company that's gonna take you. Like having that laid out just does wonders for families. And
Yeah.
just like in the savings, it's just gonna be amazing.
I like it. And I'm a UNCG grad, so I like that.
The only question I had highlighted is how quickly can we make it forward to?
Hey, I'm hoping this spring, I mean, we're ready to go. And there are things, this will be our initial rollout, but we hope to get things together. Like we'll have the student intent letter. We want them, I mean, you know, I don't know how legally binding it's gonna be. We want them to, like, hey, we're gonna do these wraparound services for you. Like, we're gonna make it official, we're gonna have an intent letter, and then we'll start the go button coming up this spring, so we're excited.
Awesome.
How will these two students be selected? Will they have to apply or?
So we're gonna probably develop some sort of application process. The three of us, our three institutions, will come up with a committee. We'll look at all the applications and then we'll do an interview. With this much of a discount, like we're probably gonna have an interview panel, have them come interview, and then we'll pick the two from that. And then and through those interviews, we do wanna make sure like they're best in our school system. Because the big part of this is like, hey, we're gonna provide all the support. We wanna make sure you come back and be with us. So like that's gonna be a big piece of this recruitment process. And I really appreciate RCC and UNCG. I mean, they've been great teammates. Like conversations just been so fluid. And so part of my numbers, like we've been talking numbers all the way up into the board meetings. So they've been great teammates with this.
And it goes back to one of our great teammates. We've had UNCG as a partner, but we can't overlook RCC because there's going to be some things in those first 2 years for these kids that they're going to have to help rearrange so the kids are ready when they come out in that senior year. But they have been, this seems to be something they've embraced as well from the beginning, David, based on the conversations you've had with them. So appreciate Randolph Community College as well. They just continue to, they help us a great deal with the CCP, Career and College Promise, or I can't remember which way it goes.
Absolutely.
Which C goes first, but it's been special for our school system.
Absolutely. And really, I mean, we're really focused on juniors and seniors in development because there are so many credentialing opportunities in all the different career areas. So like, we were really trying hard to pair them with industry, to pair them with short-term credentials, how can we get them to work, how can we get them the training they need. So I hope this is one of many programs we'll be able to soon develop that fits all the different career clusters.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm anxious to see how many.
I know.
Fingers
I hope
crossed
you
we get
have
a
a lot.
handful to choose from.
I hope you
I
have
hope it's a
bunch.
hard decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything I haven't thought about before I leave the podium?
Looks good. I like it.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Gary, you're next.
Tough act to follow.
It's talk about SAT and
I know,
ACT too,
yours,
right?
they do.
That's always fun.
I'm very excited to be here to share summaries of our SAT and ACT data from the 24-25 school year. Just want to begin by highlighting We only had 39 students that participated last year in the SAT. That's the first part of the memo. And that is mostly because a lot of colleges are test optional, but all of our juniors participate in the ACT. So we have seen a decline in the number of students that participate in the SAT. But that said, we saw a 77-point increase in the average SAT score from the 24-25 school year. So that is something definitely to celebrate.
That is.
As I just mentioned, all of our juniors participate in the ACT administration as a part of our state accountability program. And our composite last school year was 17.5, which was almost an entire point improvement from the year before. So just very excited to share that information. And so in your comparison summary, I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but just want to point out a couple of pieces. Figure 1, I really wanted to note how much of the gap we closed. That figure shows the difference between our average score and the state average score. That was just incredibly exciting to see. You'll be able to see on the next page the change in fluctuation over time with the number of students that participate in the SAT. And then on pages 4 and 5, you'll see the breakdown for all of the schools, starting back in the 2021 school year all the way up on page number 5 for 24-25. So as a whole, our average score was 1156. On page number 6, you'll see the number of test takers. And so the state masks data if it's fewer than 10, so that's why you see that notated there. Any questions about the SAT data?
So Meredith, looks like 77-point increase in SAT. And almost a point increase on ACT.
That's very exciting.
You know, I think, I've always believed you compare yourself to yourself in these areas, and Tammy Sheena, that's just two more improvements. So.
One of the things to note on page 7, we have a breakdown with the ACT data. The ACT is composed of 4 different subtests: English, math, reading, and science. As Dr. Danny just reiterated, we almost had a full percentage point improvement from the year before, 9/10 of a gain. But I really wanted to highlight that next paragraph. During the 24-25 school year, 7 of our high schools either maintained or increased their average composite score. Again, something to definitely celebrate. Starting on page 8 through the end of the document, you see the data broken down by school, and it reflects that school's overall composite and each of their sub-score averages since the 20 to 21 school year. Any questions?
Meredith, did you say 4 of the 7 improved their composite? Is that what I heard you say?
7 maintained or improved.
Maintained.
I got some questions.
I hope I'm right.
You will be. It's part, I want to learn, and I think we need to somehow bring attention to that increase. That's a 7% increase in our SAT scores and 5% increase in our composites for ACT. Somehow, bring that attention on our website somehow. I have a question about the ACT.
Okay.
I know it's tied in to the accountability model. Does RCC or other community college require college entrance exams?
Many colleges are now test optional.
Okay.
So that just means that it's up to the student whether or not they're actually going to submit their scores. Other universities don't require them currently.
Yeah.
and the SATs are pretty much scheduled and done by each student.
Yes.
Okay, it has nothing to do with the school or nothing like that.
So they do sign up through their school, but it is not like the ACT where participation is mandatory.
You know, I look at, because this year was to change back to the composite number. I think they went to 19 at one time for a few years, and it's back to 17. You know, you look at Randolph Early College, I mean, it's just out of this world. I mean, it's just awesome. And sometimes I always wonder, I said, does classroom size help with that? You know, during that period that they're at that school, you got to believe, does it or does not? You know, sometimes I wonder, you know, looking at some of, and hear about some of the classroom sizes in our high school, if we shouldn't be.
Well, I mean, you look at that, and you look at UR Ridge, they scored 18.3.
Yeah, because they're smaller
So they're
classes.
small classroom
Yeah.
size.
Yeah.
I mean, they had, outside the early college, they would have the highest composite.
If you go in those classrooms, that early college has some packed classrooms now.
Do they?
Yes, they do. Remember, the schools get based on number of students, the number of
Right.
teachers, so, yeah, they allocate, there's some good size, there's no room to move in some of those classrooms.
I bring it out because I'm just
Yeah.
thinking about planning later, you know, for our schools. And I know the state does it based on the number of students as far as teacher money and stuff like that, but it's just something maybe if we could, you know, keep in the back of our minds as we do this planning later.
Well, two things that I do want to speak to with the ACT, Mrs. Legier and then our high school director, Mrs. Albright Johnson, do a phenomenal job of supporting high schools as they work to improve their ACT. And every September when we meet with high school, we will put their data in front of them so they know exactly how many students have successfully met that benchmark. It was just lowered this past year to 17. And there is another opportunity for those students to positively count towards their high school's accountability model. And so we're keeping this on their forefront because every student counts.
But that's only for them taking the test, right? As far as tying it into the model. Suppose we didn't require them to do it. What would that do?
Well, so there's actually two different pieces. The first is the participation rate. So we have a phenomenal participation rate. It was 99%. But every high school is required to hit at least the 95% threshold or higher. But their actual score, hitting that composite of 17, counts towards the combined ACT and then ACT work keys indicator. So by a student's senior year, they have been given an opportunity to pass the ACT, but then their senior year, if they are a concentrator or a completer, I just want to make sure I say that term correctly, they also have the opportunity to pass the work keys. And so maybe a student did not hit the 17 composite during their junior year on the ACT, but if they pass the work keys, they will count towards their school and as far as proficiency goes.
So we're required by state to have 95% or more participation?
Yes.
Yes, you know, if you, it's 95% in the different categories, as far as the different testing categories. Participation rate in testing is, that's kind of where it starts. If you don't hit that, then you're, no, it's not gonna count.
So what happens to us if we don't hit it?
So if you do not hit, then your school would have to submit a plan to the state for how you are going to hit that participation target. And it is not just all students in the class, so they do look at the all subgroup, but they actually get down to the complete subgroup level. So if one subgroup didn't hit 95%, my office and I partner with those schools to make sure that we have a plan to test all students.
I think where I'm going with it is, say I look at this recent graduating class stats, where we only have 31% are going to a private or four-year college. We're not going to have, of those 99% participating, that's not going to match what's really going to a college or four-year thing. And I wonder if not requiring them to attend would increase our composite scores. The ones that wants to be there, there's ones that don't. You could have kids that go there and might bubble for 5 minutes and then lay their head down.
I will say our high schools have done a wonderful job to incentivize students to take this exam seriously. I can think of several schools that have actually named their challenge to the students, what their goal is going to be. And just like we recognize and celebrate the great composite scores, I know they're doing that at their school as well. So
I just think the
I know
state
it's
is,
not ideal, but
I think the state is trying to force us to make these students take this path of going, they've only got to go to college. And I don't agree with that, because they're not. I mean, we had 24% of our graduates last year just went straight to the workforce. But that's nothing that.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just.
Take kids that really don't want to take
We're
advantage of
penalizing
college,
our
should go
school
work.
system because we want them to follow this certain path that we think that's the correct way to do it.
luckily we do have wonderful CDCs and CTE teachers.
Oh, I'm not doubting none of that, yeah. I'm
He's
not doubting
just
none of that.
expressing a policy concern. We don't have a choice about complying with the state.
Right, I know that, Elizabeth, it's just,
Yeah, I'm just explaining that for
Yeah.
everyone.
it's,
we
I'm not
do recover
doubting,
a lot of
I'm not
students.
doubting these high schools aren't doing what they need to do, or our employees, or anybody in this room. It's just, I think our state is trying to make these kids take a path, they're not going to go that path. And, so, anyway.
Any other questions?
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. We got 2 tests here, and I really care about Phillips on. My grade's gonna be higher. And you take kids 50 out of the average of 100, where together we average 75, so Phillips on my average.
Good evening, board members. Tonight I bring to you the monthly reporting contracts for $50,000 or more. This time we only have one. It's East Coast Tires. It's a blanket purchase order in the amount of $50,000 from our transportation department, and that's used for tires into our fleet.
That's snow tires.
Thank you, Marty.
That's it.
I know, right?
Yeah, I think we moved everything.
Alright, so, we need a motion to approve the consent items.
So moved.
All those opposed? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, motion carries. Dr. Gaines.
Okay, board members, the next topic I want to talk to you about is entitled on our agenda as recommendation for the future middle school athletics in Randolph County. So, had a lot of conversation this fall up until now, and just kind of want to let you know where we are and my thoughts, which I think are represented with the other 2 superintendents, and I'll explain a little bit more about that in a second. But after some of the discussion that has gone on, I decided that the 3 superintendents and I needed to sit down and talk. So we had 3 meetings. I'll give you the dates: October 30, November 12, and November 24. And first meeting, I'm not really sure. We got together, and I don't know that my 2 colleagues knew what the meeting was about. While we were, really, I'd give them a little bit, but just really wanted us to sit down. That was my preference, to sit down and talk. And we ended it with, I charged each of us to go away, not together, and come back with 5 non-negotiables for middle school athletics in Randolph County. So we did, and we had 2 additional meetings, as mentioned, November 12 and November 24. And we came back for that second one, Dr. Costelli, Dr. Woody, Dr. Costelli with UR Charter Academy, Dr. Woody with Ashburn City Schools. We brought our documents in. We continued to work through them and got them into one document. And so what we came up with was not a group of 5 non-negotiables. We came up with a group of 7 non-negotiables. And went back. In fact, when we put them all together, Dr. Costelli said, let me take them, I'll get them together. We took notes, and she took them from that meeting and made a single document, but it was a collective group document. And one of the things, my observation of the meetings was no one tried to dominate the meeting, in my opinion, and no one really, I don't think anybody could have if they wanted to, but that was not the atmosphere of the meetings. It never was, I was asked a question in the first meeting, full transparency. A person asked me, one of them said, are you interested in us being back together at a conference? And my response was, we wouldn't be meeting if I wasn't interested. So I think that was a great question by my colleague that asked it, and it helped kind of make sure that, and that was after a few minutes into that first meeting, we talked. So I want to share with you kind of where we're going with this. I'll give you a copy of the 7 non-negotiables. This was we met again, I said, on November 24. And kind of what the idea behind 7 non-negotiables were. Like I said, we started out with, we were going to have 5. But I think some things were really, we kind of, sometimes you think you know what's important to some people, and then when they get a chance to brainstorm with themselves, by themselves about a topic, and then back in a group, things come up. So I don't think we could have limited it to 5 after we had some discussion. So let's just walk through them real quick. I'm not going to go through everything. First of all, if we have a conference, let's have a makeup. Let's quit talking about it and put it in writing. And I think everybody responded to that. Everybody responded, a team will not represent more than 1 member school. We're going to call member schools. So you're talking about 2 member schools from Ashburn City Schools, 7 member schools from Randolph County School System, and 1 from UR Charter Academy. Again, this is middle school athletics. And we also agreed that if we get past this hurdle, that we would identify a formal set of bylaws. We would create one. So I'll talk to you in a minute about that. So as the meetings went on, we talked about conference leadership. And we're not saying it's going to be a big role or a small role. We don't know. We decided there'd be a president, a vice president, a treasurer. And then as time went on, and through those meetings, we decided if we got 3 school systems, why wouldn't every year one of those positions be held by each school system? And rotate through with the school system's athletic director. Anthony Grosh is ours. Ashburn City has one. UR Charter has one. They have a contact for their athletics. So we even got into what happens if things start happening that are not good. So at the top of page 2 under sections. So section 2 was conference leadership and oversight. Section 1 was conference makeup. So look at the top of page 2. This was a recurring theme, I felt like, between the 3 of us. If a conflict arises, school system leaders, independent from the situation, will be appointed by mutual agreement to review the situation. And as time went on, we said, well, let's make a panel of 3. 1 from each central office of each school system to be involved, not connected to the situation. Revenue sharing was the 3rd section. I don't remember. I think there was a time when we kind of, if I remember right, and I don't know if Dr. Costelli and Dr. Woody are listening. I hope I'm not presenting anything incorrectly, but I don't remember, as time went, things that were important to each other came out, like the revenue sharing. gate revenues and sponsor revenues and reporting them within 5 work days of the conclusion of the postseason tournament. And so you'll see postseason tournament and championships in there as well, because they all end in a championship event. Section 4, sportsmanship and conduct. I've asked our people for us to be different. I don't think your charter has any different feeling than that, or Asheboro City. Sportsmanship is unbelievably bad across the state of North Carolina. And it's not just the state of North Carolina. Last week, as I was at a meeting in Chapel Hill, I looked at the ejection report, and it's you know, why are we using profanity at officials? Why are we, I mean, I don't know if y'all know this, we had an official in North Carolina punch our player. Did y'all know that? We punched. We lost an official because of that.
I heard about it.
And we also, I know of another game where a parent got so upset by what he was seeing that he jumped the fence and went out in the middle of a football game and got into an altercation. So I don't think any one of us three, Dr. Costelli, Dr. Woody, or myself, feel like there's anything but room for improvement with sportsmanship. So you see that in there. And then number 5, recruiting of athletes. We talked a lot about this, whether it's coaches, a school staff member who's not even coaching, a representative from the school. Influence cannot influence children to try to go to a school that they're not assigned to. And at some point in this, when you say representative from the school, you could, sometimes people call individuals friends of programs. I've heard that for years. So-and-so's a friend of the program. Well, you may be a friend of the program, but you may be hurting the whole picture of the conference. So I think there's a heightened attention to that. We need the kids to be playing where they're supposed to be playing. Their home is aligned. Every home in Randolph County is aligned with Asheboro City Schools or Randolph County School System. Now, they may not choose to go to the school system they're aligned to. They may choose to go to a charter school. They may choose to go to a homeschool or private school. That's their choice. But this was number 5 was big, and I felt like it was big with all 3 of us in the room. 6, and we will watch that. We'll watch indirect. You see indirect recruitment through booster clubs and families, digital communication, in-person contact. Are we having kids approached at the YMCA during Midnight Basketball League? Are we having things done there in preparation for upcoming sports seasons at the school level, at middle school level? Who knows, but we need to keep our eyes on that. And any complaints, you'll see there, all complaints will trigger a formal review. And that was not, there was no difficulty getting, I would say this whole set of non-negotiables, there was no difficulty getting this document, the information in this document on paper from any one of the participants. Hosting a collaborative scheduling of athletic directors, that's item number 6. Talking about all members will be eligible, all member schools will be eligible to host postseason tournaments, including championship events on a rotational basis. You see some things that were important, even home away distribution of games, equal postseason tournament participation, resolution of conflicts through dialogue with athletic directors. So Anthony is already working on stuff of that nature. We've been doing that as a group, but we need to continue that collaborative work. And then the bylaws, that's what we will, depending on what happens tonight, and I'll explain what I mean by that in a minute. All allegations of conference bylaws and/or the 7 non-negotiables, which the bylaws will come off of, will undergo a neutral and impartial investigation conducted by leaders from each school system central office who are not affiliated with the schools involved. Consequences will be given, and violations could include such things as loss of eligibility to host a postseason tournament, suspension from postseason tournaments, or other disciplinary action. That's going to come out of the bylaws. But just wanted to show you what's been being worked on by the 3 superintendents. And so any questions about this at this point before I go further?
I appreciate the work that you've done along with the other 2, because I think at the end of the day, this is about the kids.
Yeah.
And the kids enjoy, whether they're in a city school system, the charter school system, or our system, they enjoy competing against one another. And I think that's, at the end of the day, I think we're headed in the right direction. There's a few things in here I'm not 100% sure how we can enforce, but I think we can work through that.
Well, I think there's probably some things in there, the three superintendents don't know how we're gonna enforce it, but I think we're gonna figure out, we're gonna put some attention on it to begin with. And maybe if we, as we watch things develop, it'll help us figure that out, and as we start working on the bylaws. Thank you for that comment, Mr. Lanier. Let me just hit a couple things, because I want to make sure where we are. If, I'm going to make a recommendation tonight, and if you approve of that, we'll move to the bylaws piece, which will be from here to the end of the year. We will continue to operate as we were this year, but this will be a kickoff for 26, 27. So I say that when we get into the bylaws, the athletic directors for each of the organizations are probably going to get more involved. Anthony's, this has been intentional. This has been intentional. No, I didn't bring Anthony with me, and Dr. Caselli didn't bring her athletic director with her, and Dr. Woody didn't bring his. This was the three of us. I will say the bylaws, I don't see the bylaws need board approval, because at the high school level, there's no bylaws and conferences there. But I would say if that be something that one board chooses and feels like they need to, then I think all three boards are going to have to. And then I think it can get very stretched out. I think we have some very quality people in all three organizations that can. We'll approve the bylaws as a conference, but I don't see. But I just make that point. I told you I intentionally worked to make this document one between superintendents. So let me just speak to. I'm just going to speak for Stephen Gaines now. So, first meeting we had, let me just say this again, it's a community issue. If you don't, to give you that explanation, or give you an example of what I mean by that, 5 years ago, Dr. Woody and I agreed to reach out to Dr. Castelli to bring URA charter into our middle school conference. When the Randolph County school system had a split conference at the high school level, there were two 1A schools, one was Eastern and one was URA charter. And we were open to Trinity Middle, and it created numbers of conference members that made allowing URA charter in. It made it reasonable, logical, it made scheduling work, okay? So I do believe it's a community issue. I believe the conversation between Dr. Woody and I then had that comment in there somewhere. At least if it didn't, we were thinking that. But here's what I want to tell you. Let's talk about kids just a second. One of the things I love to do, I love to go up to Chick-fil-A. Not just because I like their sweet tea or like their food. But I can go in that Chick-fil-A and the kids working in there, I love finding out because they're Ashburn City kids, or Randolph County School System kids, URA charter kids, Faith Christian kids. We've got great kids all over this county. And I don't know that some people stop long enough to realize how lucky we are there. But started listening to my colleagues and some things they had done since we had got away from possibly having this conference again. And here's what I'll tell you. Without this conference being put back together starting in 26, 27, my concern is that the children of the URA Charter Academy, South Ashburn Middle School, North Ashburn Middle School are going to miss a lot of school for travel. If they have to go to other school systems apart. Now I get it. There are some things that people have been upset about. I've been upset about. But when I start hearing that, and I remember some of those where I grew up, I remember those days in middle school. I remember the travel, the distance. I think we're bringing on something, and they're not our kids, but they are our kids. They're not county. They are our kids. And I think we're bringing on something that's mighty tough on kids and staff, because you're thinking about, say you drive into Greensboro to play a middle school game and start out of school, you're probably missing the whole last block and part of the block before. And that starts getting tough, and that crosses a lot of lines with me. as an educator. Because doing that puts athletics above what we're supposed to be doing during the day. And there is a kid somewhere that will just really bother because of what they have, he or she has. And I'm saying a kid, there's many kids. What they have at the end of the day that they know they're going to miss considerable time. So I say this to you. Also, I will say this. Conversations I feel like have been very good. But I would just, before I give you my recommendation, and I'm making a recommendation tonight because I believe since our board voted not to have the conference, that there has to be a vote to get it back if that's where the board wants to go. I'll leave that, that's not my call. But I will say this, I've been in those 3 meetings with those 2 superintendents. I've seen what they brought, I've seen the sincerity, the genuine conversation, and a lot of, it was about kids. It wasn't about my place or your place, but I'll leave you with this. I trust my other 2 colleagues and their staffs, that with our staff, we can collectively make things better in terms of a conference operation in the future for middle school athletics. I trust that's what's going to come. Because if it wasn't, it would have been even more difficult to get together and have these meetings. And I don't think the meetings would have gone the way they went. Before I make a recommendation, any questions from board members about this?
Well, I think these meetings you had and this right here, I mean, I don't want to say it's brought a light.
It has brought a light.
Well, it has, but everybody knows what's been going on for years. I think this brought a different kind of light to it. I think it brought to light that, it's time for something to be done. And
Well, the
your colleague,
accountability's
Dr.
in black and
Gaines,
white now. Yes.
I mean, I think it's brought a light to them. You always hear stuff in your ear, but then when you don't really look into it, getting serious about it,
Yeah.
you just keep hearing it. I think this brought to light that, hey, it's time to get serious about these and fix these problems. Hopefully, their staff, our staff, whoever staff it is, will really be sincere about this and do the right thing. I mean, I don't have a problem with the conference. I mean, I'm all for having it, but I just hope if this is all passed, that everybody's gonna be sincere about it.
Yeah.
'Cause we've let it go on for so long.
Well, we've always, I think, feel like we've been the nice guy. Like,
Yeah.
we gotta play nice, we gotta play nice. So I think this is a good transparency, black and white list of kind of guidelines. So I think it's good to see.
Well, the one thing that we've got to do, all 3 organizations have to do, the Warren Charter Academy, Ashburn City Schools, and Randolph County School System, all 3 groups have to embrace this.
Yes.
They have to.
It cannot be 2 of the 3 or 1 of the 3.
Right.
It's going to be on. And like I say, I'll go back to, I trust my other 2 colleagues. I mean, we share information about weather, and so maybe this is, things happen for a reason. Maybe there was a bigger reason for why all this happened. But at any rate, I would like to make a recommendation to the board, and then I'll leave it where you want to go with it. My recommendation is a little lengthy, but it's just to get the words in there. I recommend that the Randolph County Board of Education approves the participation of the Randolph County School System in a middle school athletics conference with the Ashburn City School System and Uwharrie Charter Academy during the 2026-2027 school year and future school years. Now, with that recommendation, there's some work has to be done, but that work doesn't, this kicks it off. This kicks it off. And Anthony and I'll be talking, as will their staff, and then we're gonna have to have some meetings where we can flesh some things out. And it's not gonna be a big old 30-page bylaw document, but it's gonna be something that's gonna hold water. So,
I'd make a motion to go with Dr. Gainey's recommendation, and let's give it a chance and see how it goes.
All right, have a motion, have a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed, all right, motion carries.
All right, thank you, board members. The next thing I want to share with you, just, I don't know where you want to go with this time. Here's what I'm going to say to you about the next item. I fear that if we don't move forward with another contract with the Institute for Transportation Research and Education, which you may hear me call ORED, I don't know if we take breaks from continuous work with them, how valid our data will be. If we were to take a 3-month break or a 6-month break, does that put us back in the position of having to go back? I think it does because of the nature of their work. I'm just going to say that piece. I've not asked them that, but that's on my mind. So I want to bring you tonight a second contract, and this one will focus on 2 big features. Long-range student assignment solutions, and I'll talk about that in a minute, and facility planning solutions. And it comes in, it's an extension of what they just finished when they did their 10-year enrollment forecast. And you guys got that data the other day where it broke down each of the next 10 years for middle, elementary, and high. So you got that. So I want to just point out a couple. So the first contract actually started on February 26, 2025. And it was, if you read the contract, it went a little bit longer because they had some struggles there at times getting some of the data. So it went a little longer than it was originally going to end by June 30th, and it didn't. That's why it took us a little longer getting it to you. But I want to go through a couple things. Integrated boundaries and building operations plan. That's one of the things this next contract will work on. That's basically what it's doing is they're going to, with that, they're going to say, are we going to leave our boundaries where they are? Are we going to move them? What are we going to do? That's what comes out of that. And then the part about building operations plan will be which schools we use moving forward, which ones do we not. So that's one big feature. Another one that's equally important is where it says project architecture and leadership. This is talking about the components of the projects and linking the projects and building a timeline for the projects so we can be in a successful situation for success. Having one project after, we go from this project to this one. Now, I'm not talking about how much time's between them, but linking them together so we have a good succession of things and we're not, well, we did this project and we did this one, but at the end of the day, we really should have done this one, number 2. That's what they're going to focus there. Board, county, and community engagement. Heard a little bit of that on the email on board members. So this is going to be, it's going to identify problems to address with gaining public input. So they're going to help us get the public input aligned and integrated with what your priorities are as a board member. So that's going to take some time, and we're going to need people to engage with us. Just when we talk about embracing that athletic conference, we need people to embrace this. If we're going to have I haven't talked to them enough to know how they want to go about doing that, but if they want to have some forums, we need people to show up. So we don't need to set our timeline and all of a sudden people come out of the back and say, hey, we wouldn't want to do it that way. This is really aimed at, the way I put it is building support for the work by the board and leadership of the school system. That's what that one is. Getting public input and integrating it with the board's priorities and build success for both the board and leadership of the school system. And ultimately, support from the community. Facilities, database, classroom, and building capacities. Had some kind of conversations. Marty's been involved with this for a long time. Larry's been involved. I don't know, any of us tell for those numbers how old they are. But what they're going to do with this, guys, is they're going to go in to every school and they're going to look at every room in a school. And they're going to look at it at how it's used. And they're going to determine the capacity for that room. And they're going to work through that school and determine the capacity for that building. And so, but they're going to go in and look and see how it's used. Like when I first went to Turntown, I had this huge computer lab in front of the school. I had 2 big ones. And, I needed some EC rooms. So I got to talk to facility guys, and we changed that big, huge computer lab. We started buying carts, computer carts, mobile labs. We could take them 2 classrooms, and that big room wound up being 2 wonderful EC resource rooms. So these guys know the size, but they need to be able to go in the school and know, they're gonna have to know what it's currently used for so they can assess it. So, but we need up-to-date information. So I tell you, of all of this, that's one of the things jumps off the page at me right there. Probably the 2 things jump off the page at me are that and the community input. Because we don't need to get going down the road and maybe have to go for a bond, and we're asking people to support something, and they don't even know, we're having to crank the engine then, and we're way down the road on what we're asking people to support. So, number 5, no one wants to talk about this. None of us do, but school consolidation, repurposing. What schools might have to be closed, or what schools may be repurposed. And for anybody listening, closing schools would not be something only in the Randolph County school system. If you look, closing schools are being closed all around the state and all around the country. It's just where we are right now with enrollments. There's a lot of options for enrollment, and that's pulling away kids from the public schools, and that's beginning to lead to buildings are not used as much as they were built for, to the capacity they were built for. And the last will be if we went to close the school, the OREG group would help us have all the data we need to make the official report to DPI. So, that would be important. So those are 6 big areas. So there's 2 things about this contract. Number 1 is, do you want to do it and keep some continuity with this group? And the other one is, if you want to do it, which one do you want to choose? The one where we get the information and we implement it 26, 27, I think that could be incredibly difficult. I think that opens us up to a lot of errors and maybe some missteps. Or do we want to do the contract where they're working with us and we implement it during 27, 28? I think that's more doable, or gives us more chance for success. But, so my recommendation would be take the 27, 28 option of implementation. So this proposal, there is an attached timeline. The cost of this next contract is $45,000. If you look on the timeline that's behind my memo, there are 3 deliverables which are all kind of captured in what I just talked about, those examples on the memo. You've got, in the 3rd bullet right there is Randolph County School System Community and Board Engagement. Right above that, K-12 classroom database, that's your capacity figures, and academic program framework and space standards. So a lot of this is being geared by the space standards and knowing what our schools hold, and then obviously what we need to do with some of our assignment zones, which is that first example. So this contract will be $45,000. So back in the spring of 2024, 2 things the county commissioners approved in that phase 1 plan. They approved $500,000 for demolition of Braxton Craven School, which, as I've communicated to you, we're right there on the edge of that happening. They also approved $50,000 for us to do a student assignment study, and we spent $27,500 on the contract that's coming to an end. So Mr. Trotter checked, and that money, the balance, that's still there. So at $45,000, we'd have $22,500 to put to it from the commissioners, and so this would cost us $22,500 out of our money. So I'll bring that to you as a recommendation. My recommendation is to move into the next contract. I did ask the group from the Institute of Transportation Research and Education to let me get to this board meeting so we can talk about it. My recommendation would be go to the next contract and do it with the implementation goal of 27, 28. I don't think the turnaround is too short for 26, 27. I just, to do it right. So I'll bring that to you, board members, as a recommendation.
So with the previous contract and this contract, that gonna give us all the data we need? I mean, that's what I'm saying, if we're gonna come to the end of the next contract, and there's gonna be another contract, and come to the end of that, and there's gonna be another contract to get what we need.
Can we, ask the county commissioners for the, under budget for the demolition of Braxton Craven supposedly, if that money could be earmarked for everything that we need for this study associated?
We can't, we've gotta get the final figure. Y'all know we've come in under budget. It's great work by Larry and Dale Brinkle was involved, Marty's been involved, great work.
And I'm like Tracy, I think there might be another contract, you know, in the future. I mean, because you're still looking at a couple of years, and which is fine, as long, because there'll be some things that we probably need that may not fall in these 6 categories.
Well, those are just examples of it. So there's some stuff, there's gonna be some more stuff in there.
I just see if we could get that
Yeah.
money and just earmark just for everything, planning for this.
Yeah, we will
could
certainly pursue, because they don't know right now where we are on that figure. So,
You can't look at doing nothing for 26, 27 years. I mean,
Not with the,
I mean, this year.
not with the data we received so far.
No.
That's just,
I mean, you caused a daggum firestorm in the county.
that's just not possible.
That'd be just rushing in, you know, you just rushing in, trying to save money, and it's not what you need to do for the students in the community.
Well, as a board too, we need that time together to go through that data and tie it to some of these topics and make sure that we're making the right decisions also.
These are some major decisions.
another thing board members out of full transparency, this is a service contract, and it's $45,000, it's less than our $90,000 threshold. But if we continue to do business with them, you're gonna eventually have a cumulative over 90, and I wanna make sure we're above board on that. We're not there yet, but since it's the same company again, I think probably anything we do with this one and moving forward, the same company, you're gonna see it brought in for your approval, because I wanna make sure we're honoring the spirit of the policy. I think, again, 27, 28 is probably your best target. I also would say this too, it's important, I think keeping the relationship's gonna be equally important, because we haven't seen some of the stuff that we hear is coming.
That's right.
And so this whole thing right here could move with the development to an extensive, where does school 32, 33, and the board's gonna need some help with that. And
It could shift.
So what do you
just like a colleague of mine said last night, said, we were dealing with the weather, and he said, we're school superintendents, we're not meteorologists. And because we do the very best we can with the weather. Just like this, we need this group's expertise in this, and they have a history. And they have a history of school systems transforming like there is a good chance this one can or will. So we're not the first example of a school system moving because of, there's a lot of land in this county. I don't know if we've had the last big group land. I think
So they're gonna go into the schools.
They will do that. They will go in and do that. That will be, that's the part.
So they're gonna go into, like they go into a school that they'll say, wow, why does this school have all this? I mean, they got all the bells and whistles, plus 3 more. Why do they have all that? So that'll be interesting. You know where they're gonna go in, they're gonna say that.
I think too, they'll recognize.
In
are
tough
we
times,
utilizing
you
the
draw a
space
line.
the right way.
Yeah.
It's
I
more
think
about,
that's very
it's more space. It's not gonna be,
Huh?
it's not gonna be, they're not gonna be going in looking
It's not a
particularly
comparison.
at supply.
I'm just saying, they're gonna ask tough questions probably. Like, why do you have these programs? Why do you have this here, this, and you don't have it anywhere else? And they'll come back, say you could save X amount of dollars. You're gonna be prepared how you're gonna answer that or handle that. Not to mention it piss a lot of people off, but still, that'll be a question you have to answer.
That's the biggest concern. If we can move forward this contract, are we all on board? Because it can
Yeah.
get, if you're worried about politics, you probably don't want to approve this contract.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, as long as we're all on board, then let's do it.
I think I think you just give yourself the most information available to make the right decisions, and
Yeah.
I think this contract is gonna do that.
I mean, you got to, I mean, if not, the way I look at it is like the first contract, you want a recipe you never made. What good it do you? If you're not gonna use it, why ask for
An example,
You
Jim,
gotta get all the
I was looking at your Ridge just earlier this afternoon. So if you break with them, and you don't have continuity with them, and you know, that's your call. But last year, this time, your Ridge had 411 students. This year, December 25, 365. That's a big difference. So if we start having that from the data they just did, and they're not filling in behind, you know, and keeping it current, then we're gonna get behind, we'll be right back to square one.
Definitely gonna need help in our state training.
So that's my recommendation, Mr. Chair. My recommendation is to, this contract.
So do we need to vote on
it.
that?
Yeah, motion.
So you have the motion to,
I'll make a motion
to
to that.
have the contract for the Institute Transportation and Searching.
I'll make that
All right.
motion.
Second.
I second it.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries.
Okay, next up is Anthony Grosh. He's gonna talk to you a little bit about something we've talked about, and I'm gonna stay with Anthony, because he and I have been talking about it.
30 minutes past due.
We'll be expecting you to move right along, Anthony.
I'll do my best.
Pressure's
So
on.
Gary said the wrong thing.
So, board members, this evening, I bring to you a recommendation for the removal of childcare for grades 6 through 8 as a reason included for student admission rules, release rules, and reassignment rules. So for our middle school students, if this were approved, this recommendation would be effective for our admission, reassignment, release process for the 26-27 school year. Do we have
I like
any
it.
questions?
I have two questions. All right, now the effective date, it just says 26, 27. Now, what time of year, isn't it in the springtime when people put in those requests?
Usually start about
That's
January
why we
1st.
need to, that's why.
Do you need to put that date in?
No, but we need, what they're gonna submit to Anthony's office is gonna be for 26, 27.
Okay.
So Anthony needs to know what rules he's applying. We can't wait, because you're right, there's a February, Anthony, and there's February 1, we start reminding people, in March 1, different things. He's gotta have the rules in place, so when he starts on this process.
I don't want people to come
Setting
back.
up the timing is the administration's job, just in terms of the putting in place rules and managing the administration of it, but setting the parameters is your job as a board.
What happens to previous people who have used this?
We've got 4 questions. Anthony's gonna go through 4 questions, we're gonna need y'all to weigh in.
Okay.
He's coming in.
So,
I know where you're going.
All right.
Yeah.
So that would be question number 1, which would be for next school year, our rising 7th and 8th graders, current 6th and 7th graders. Would they be grandfathered in to still use childcare as a reason to remain in their current school, again, whether it had been a reassignment, an admission into us, or release into the school system? Question 2, we look at our students that are in grades K through 5 who are to receive that reassignment, release, or admission for childcare. So as they go into becoming 6th graders, would they be grandfathered in, or would we pull them back at the end of their 5th grade year to their domicile school for their 6th grade school year? Okay. Question 3, and earlier we've seen as well is typically we have kept siblings together if there's been a reassignment, release, or admission. So if a student in grades K through 5 is allowed a reassignment, release, or admission for childcare being their still approved reason, what decision would we have for the siblings if they have a sibling in grades 6 through 8? Would they be allowed to move, or would they need to stay in their domicile school? Okay. And again, question 4 kind of went off in number 2, but at the end of the 5th grade school year, moving forward, Will students be recalled back to their domicile school for grade 6?
Basically, boy, what we have is, we have some 6th and 7th graders who are in the middle schools they're in, that's not aligned with their address, because they did childcare. Do we let them finish middle school that way, or we pull them back to their assigned school? And then we get into some other pieces, K-5. So remember, we've operated when you got in a feeder pattern, as long as you reapplied, you got to stay there the rest of the way. So are we gonna stop that? That's the next thing. Are we gonna stop if they're elementary and they got a reassignment, release, or admission for childcare? Are we gonna let them keep doing that in middle school, or are we gonna say we're only going through elementary? Because these are the things we'll be doing.
Do we know how many people that is, families that are using that?
This past school year for 25, 26, we had middle school was 116 students.
116 students?
Elementary, that used childcare for one admission, release, or reassignment. For 25, 26 was 417 students.
Wow.
The biggest majority of those are reassignments.
It's an easy one, then.
Do you know if the biggest, the number would be employee kids, or is that figured in?
Employees kids is its own category.
Okay.
That they would select that reason. So of the reasons, just as a reminder, they can have childcare grades 6 through 8. That doesn't apply to high school, and I don't know if it ever has. Employee's child, and then employee's child we allow to be in the feeder pattern of that employee. So I may, work in the Trinity area, but I live in the Southwest area, but I want my child to me, with me through that same feeder pattern. Extreme unusual circumstances, and they put an explanation in, and that's kind of looked at on an individual basis more so. And then they're reporting a change in domicile, and they are required to show proof of like a new lease or a sale agreement or something, with the anticipation that they're moving into the area they want to go by November 1st of that school year, whether they're, again, reassignment, coming or going, release or admission.
So if you grandfather those 116 that are currently in it, by the time they enter the 9th grade, do they go back to their
That's where
domicile?
we're at, what,
Oh, I see what you're saying.
yeah, I would think so. I mean,
How does that work now? Do you
once you get in the feeder pattern, you can stay.
stay the whole time?
As long as you reapply for it. So what Anthony and I have been talking about is, all right, so a 3rd grader does childcare. They get reassigned. Or they do childcare and get released. Do we honor that after 5th grade? If we take away childcare 6-8, do we honor that after 5th grade? After 5th grade, we say we don't do, say they pick childcare, we don't do it anymore in middle school. If you vote to remove it, I think when you see, I'll just be honest, when you see 275 elementary students reassigned because of childcare, is that reading it right, Anthony?
Yes, sir.
Say that again?
275 elementary students are reassigned because of childcare.
Really. And they have clarification too, when they put childcare, we do ask for who is the childcare in the address, so the childcare has to be in that school zone. It's like if it's grandmother that's picking them up, grandmother's address is in the Grace Chapel zone.
But you're asking this to happen.
So we're thinking, I think the grandfather part is, I think that's what we have to think about.
That's the grade.
So if we did the 275 elementary students and be grandfathered through the 6th grade, would that be a possibility?
Through 5th
5th
grade.
5th grade you took out. Well, I mean, you could say, you essentially could say,
They grandfather.
anybody who's had childcare up to this point,
Grandfather.
those rules stay in play for the rest of the way. You could do that.
That'd be the.
That might be the cleanest way, or the more consistent way, just saying we're not. But then the other side we need to know is, somebody come along and want use childcare for K-5.
Then say,
Then they've
So
got
do we
kids,
stop
yeah.
it when they go to sixth grade, or we
but
don't?
yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
stop. They need to know ahead of
I
time.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, they'll know.
That's the only thing I'm fighting with, is if they do that, say if the kid goes to Newmarket for K-5, and then he's gotta load up and go to Southwest Middle School for 6-8, because he lives in the Southwest District. You
But if they know that going in,
Yeah.
They might not
then
move.
I mean, it
maybe
does
they
make it
say, well, I
easier.
need to rethink this whole
Yeah.
childcare thing.
Well, when you look at
You know, 'cause I want my child to
275
go here.
reassigned elementary students, it makes my mind start wondering some of our elementary schools that are
What are the two, what are the elementary schools that that's the heaviest in? Is that information broke out?
I would have to look that together. I don't have that with me, but I can break that down.
Yeah.
Because I think that would be interesting to see too.
It's funny when you start thinking through it. Anthony and I were talking the other day, just kind of brainstorming, started thinking through it. There's little nuances of how to turn this thing around. Well, you can turn it around and just send everybody back to their base school, but I don't know that that's the, I don't know that.
I almost think
I just think, I mean,
everybody should be.
like I'm wrong, but I just think you just grandfather what you have,
Yeah, that's what I'm
K through
thinking,
5 and then 6 through 8, write down,
starting.
but starting.
And they just know this up
Know it
front.
going forward.
They know
It's
it.
just not
Everybody
that
gets
way.
a letter.
They know
Everybody
it.
gets a
When
letter.
they put that on their paper, they know that
So,
this is only gonna be good for so many
I mean,
years.
yeah, I
and
mean, it needs to be on the form
That's right.
that, I
Yeah.
mean, you know, they stay, say they
then
stay
they
at
can
the farm.
rethink it or do it, know it.
K-5, then they gotta go
K-5,
back to
they can
No
come
surprises.
next, you know, you gotta go back southeast. or
That's right, and I'm
whatever.
saying if a parent says, I don't want my child to have to do all that, then they may have to rethink childcare. And those schools have after-school care.
so if we have a K-5 child in Southwest zone, they're there, K-5, childcare, they can't stay there at grade 6 in that zone.
Not if it's not their domicile
Okay,
address.
so you're,
Yeah.
so grandfather everybody where they are,
Yeah.
so let those middle school kids
Right
finish
now.
where they are,
Right.
so then they go back to their assigned high school,
That's right.
not the high school that
Well,
that
that's-
middle school fees.
Are you gonna grandfather them in
Through all
all the way through high school?
See, that's what I'm at, do you
Yeah,
go,
that-
or you go honor the feeder pattern for the kids that already have childcare on the
We'll
books?
just make it easiest for you.
That would,
I mean, unfortunately, I think that's kind of what you're
Yeah.
going to do.
I think if you leave.
I think you're gonna say, if you're grandfathered in, and you're at whatever, and you're in the feeder pattern, you can stay, but starting next year, it's a whole new world out there.
For anybody who's a
I
new
just
childcare
hate for
applicant.
somebody to have to
Yeah.
be
a
through
new
middle
child, yeah.
school and then have to leave and go to further school.
Yeah, they're gonna do that.
I mean, I hate that.
that's
I think
Just
you
follow
gotta,
them all the way through.
you gotta follow them all the way through.
Let it go all the way through, if they're already there, let them
I
follow.
think so.
So now so what you're saying is Anthony and his staff need to look only at whoever's applying for child care for the first time now. Okay, Anthony,
For 26.
let me make sure this is where you are. You'll ask for child care for the first time for 26, 27. And one, if you're a middle school student, we're not doing it. Okay, your high school student, we're not doing it. Elementary, we'll do it, but it's gonna end at the end of 5th grade.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're honoring everybody else that's already in the path.
All the
So
way
if there's a
through.
3rd grader right now who's on child care, as long as they reapply every year for the reassignment, release, whatever, they can run through 12th grade in that pattern. That's probably, Anthony, what do you think about that?
I mean, I hate to do that, but I.
That'd probably be the cleanest, and we look at, really, I mean, middle school is about, across the 3 categories of mission, release, and reassignments, it's about 40 new ones a year, the last 3 years. And elementary, it's about, on average, the last 3 years, about 90 to 95 new ones, so the vast majority. And a lot of those are, honestly, when I went back through, a lot of the elementary requests are kindergartners. It's not a lot of first time in first, second, third, fourth, and 5th grade, it's mostly kindergartners.
Is that a lot of bookkeeping for you to keep up with those kids there now? In fourth grade that you gotta see all the way through high school, I mean,
No, I mean, I think we can put, they do the application on a Google form,
okay.
so we can easily add, I think one of them already does have a question, is this your first
Okay.
opportunity or not? And then really
Just
it's,
need to have it on tracks. And it needs to be.
we have all the previous years, so we can always, if we're not sure,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
we can go back and look and compare. I
Can
found,
I clarify something? It might be that I just didn't hear it right. You're basically grandfathering in everyone, kindergarten through seventh grade who is on the child care. But Dr. Gainey, it sounded like you said that if you had been in that or because of a child care reason, through eighth grade, you could then go to the high school?
That's correct.
Yeah, because we've been honoring, once you got the feeder pattern, you were in it.
Okay, so, okay.
So
And so that's what you all.
we've got two things working. We got two things they're talking about is if somebody's already on child care, elementary or middle, they can ride that feeder pattern all the way through, provided they continue to apply for a reassignment release or actual release. We don't know where they're going.
I just want to clarify that for everyone, because that means when they're getting the reassignment for high school, they don't actually have a reason.
Exactly.
They're just, it's because they're in
The
the same.
grandfathered in.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
The rub's gonna be, you're a new, okay, I'm a seventh grader next year, we never asked for childcare, well, you're not eligible. Okay, you're not in, okay, but now I'm a kindergarten, I'm a second grader, and we're asking for childcare reassignment. Okay? You may be eligible, we check it out, but at that point, you need to know that in
ends.
fifth grade, it ends.
Because that's when we say. you
And that's what I'm hearing board
childcare.
members say, you may
Correct.
rethink
That's right.
what you're doing because you get out of that feeder
I
pattern.
think I to Whitmore. So that's it. They're Whitmore. Okay.
So a lot of people use that
Because that's one of our bigger elementary
child
schools.
care, just get out, go to the school.
So we're ready to.
True
But
child care.
equally important, we're going across the board here, releases, admissions, and reassignments. So, thing that can't be overlooked is that rising sixth grade, rising seventh, rising eighth comes and asks for release because of child care, another system, we're going to deny it
Right,
because it's not a reason for release anymore.
That's right.
right.
So we're saying, just like if someone wants to come in for that, it's not a reason for admission. So,
So you ready for the motion? You wanna make it, or?
Sir?
What
Is
is
there
it?
anything else?
no, I think we captured it. Elizabeth, I think we can, the motion can say, you got the motion, Mr. Cook, I think, with you? We need to make sure we include this as admission rules, release rules, reassignment, the effective date, and with the grandfathering stipulations that the board identified.
I do have one question.
Yes.
If we're releasing them from the school system and they come for child care, we're not gonna release them, is that?
If that's their reason for wanting a release, if you approve this, then we're not going, for 6-8, grade 6-8.
Because obviously if they want to release from the school system, I mean, they won't.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
I mean, they're gonna get it regardless if they want to release.
I mean, that's.
6 out, they want to get out of here, and then they can get out.
Okay.
do you all have a motion, or do you want me to suggest one?
Hey, who's Cook's got one?
You said suggest one.
Okay, so the motion would be that beginning with the 2026-27 school year, all new requests for reassignment or release cannot be based on the need for childcare for grades 6 through 8.
You forgot admissions, Elizabeth.
And admissions.
Yes.
Did you get that, Beverly?
I did.
You wanna add something, Elizabeth, about,
Grandfather.
the
The
grandfather?
fact that it says new requests, and we'll just
Okay.
clarify this in the minutes, but the fact that it's new request means that everybody who's previously requested childcare as a reason,
I think that's fine.
can continue.
I think that's fine.
So I guess we need the motion, just like Elizabeth said it, correct?
Yeah.
Sounded good to me. I can't even begin to say the motion.
Yeah, we gonna read it,
Read it, please, somebody read
please.
it.
Beginning with the 2026, 2027 school year, all new requests for reassignment, releases, and admissions cannot be based on child care for grades 6 through 8.
All right, so we have the motion, we have a second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed?
Who made the motion?
Oh, that's right, she can't, she read it.
I didn't make the motion.
Beverly made the motion.
Beverly made the motion.
Yes.
Put that up.
Shannon, you wanna,
Oh, yeah, I can.
all right,
And a second?
Sharon a
Yeah.
second, that's right.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
all those in favor say aye. Opposed? All right,
We
motion
get ahead of
carries.
ourselves sometimes,
All
don't
right,
we?
thanks, Sharon.
Thank you.
We go into closed session. Gary, I'm worried about you.
I know.
I'm gonna get out of here.
I think you've got new money.
I think I do too.
I think you need to
Like
go
you don't feel
go
good.
to the, hang on, is it my turn? I move that the Randolph County Board of Education enter into a closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A1 and 3 to preserve the attorney-client privilege to discuss confidential personnel matters protected by the state law. Sorry, I don't know state law.
So we have the motion, we have,
Second.
all those in favor say aye. All right, motion carries. We're in closed session.
put palm trees and beaches, not snow and cold.
We're in
No, that's the only way I'm gonna enjoy the
We're in
color.
open session. Do you see the motions on the end? We're in
She
open
may-
session.
she
You got
may
the
need that
motion.
paper back there.
All the personnel reports.
Okay, we're back in open
Let me make
session,
sure
so now we
everybody
need
all
to,
right.
you good? So, we need a motion to return to open session? We've already
Oh,
done
you
it.
did not.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve the certified personnel report.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We need a motion to approve the classified personnel report.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We need a motion to approve the administrative appointment.
So moved.
Second.
Aye. All in
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second, third.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All in